When you're uncomfortable, that means you either need to grow or change. And growth is so important as individuals, but it's even more important as a business.
Welcome back to the Reganaro Report. Today, we have a special guest, Christine Lord, and it's Luxure Lifestyle is her business. She's been an amazing partner with real producers, and she's doing something different that a lot of people in town are doing, and at a level that should be expected in the area that we live in. So I'm excited to have you on today, Christine, to really talk about your transition as an entrepreneur and getting uncomfortable, leaving the workforce, leaving an industry that a lot of people spent a lot of time, energy, effort to get into, which you did, and then you went out on your own, you created a business, and you're doing amazing things. And kudos to you. A lot of people have worked with you, said a lot of raving reviews about you and your business. So excited to have you here on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for those compliments. That's a great way to start, for sure.
So we talked about a business. We talked about a industry that you were a part of, right? Mm-hmm. You went to law school, right? You were in the world of law for what, 20 years?
Yes.
Wow. And then you ventured out. Well, first of all, tell us about that. Tell us about a little bit about the law school, everything like that. I mean, why did you want to get into, becoming a lawyer, different things like that?
Well, that started when I was 18. I needed to get a job, and we had the classified ads back then, and I applied, and my still dear friend Mark hired me as a secretary, and I worked my way up, and I fell in love with it. And then it was 20 years later, and actually probably 16 years later, and I knew that I had kind of reached the upper echelon as a paralegal here, and I knew that I needed something more. And so law school seemed like the next logical step. So went to law school, graduated, took the bar exam, and failed it. And I had never failed at anything before in my life. And so that was a huge lesson, and getting comfortable first with failure. And I think that gave me the confidence to go as an entrepreneur. And it wasn't because I failed that I left my business. It's more like, or I created this business. It's more like my life needed a change, and it changed organically this way. But I loved legal, and I still miss it. And I love writing a contract for a client. I love doing all the different things, but I'm so happy to be doing this as an entrepreneur now.
That's amazing. So obviously it's a humbling experience, and you said it best, that it was a learning experience. Entrepreneurship is being uncomfortable, and starting businesses, a lot of people fail in so many different ways. They fail on the daily, they fail weekly, yearly. Sometimes their whole business crashes or burns, and then they start over again, right? And they keep doing that until they find something that works. So, I think everyone just needs to go back to, what is it? You learn from the failures, right? Yeah. Rather than embracing it and saying you're a failure, it's, well, what did I learn, right? And so I think that's a huge thing for a lot of entrepreneurs. Now, tell me about your inspiration. I mean, tell me about why. I mean, you could have done a lot of different businesses, right? Why this one?
My life was kind of out of control personally, and I started to take back control little by little. So whether that was, I first started cleaning out my closet and my clothes. Then I started cleaning out the linen closet that had this stuff in it that I shoved in there. And like, shoving things into a closet gets them out of our visual space, but it doesn't get them out of our actual space. And I think the same can be said for our minds. When you declutter your house, you're kind of decluttering your mind space too. And so I started that way, and I felt better. And as I started getting rid of things in my home, I noticed that I felt lighter. And that was a lot of like personal work as well as like in my home. And then I was like, man, I really like this. I like not being stationary behind a desk. I was moving my body. I was becoming happier, and I wanted to bring that to other people. So I started in my mom's house. She let me go ahead and like spend a bunch of money on products and do everything. And she loved it. And I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can do this for others. And it just started with trying to take better care of myself. And that's also my love language. So every time I go into a client's house, I fill up my cup by making their lives better.
I love that. So what is it? What is it you do?
Man, I do everything home related.
You really
right?
do. There's like a list, right?
I know, it's a huge list. Go on my website, you'll see it all. We have pillars, but it started with organizing. And then organizing led to, they didn't have the right systems in their house. So that led to doing custom closets. And then custom closets led to what we've dubbed functional interior design, which means your house functions as well as it can for you. So we customize the house around your lifestyle. So if you're into working out and you have like a whole smoothie situation in the morning, let's create a zone in your house for that. If you're a busy mom and you need drop zones for your kids' backpacks and lunch boxes, let's create that so that your life functions better. We essentially sell back your time. We sell back your peace of mind. That's really what we provide, but the services that we do are abundant. So we're working with one of your other preferred partners who's an amazing GC, and we're doing renovations now because we have kind of grown. So we'll take care of your home when you're not here. So we're home watch now. Everything. Moving and packing services, which are, integral to real estate agents around here. We do home staging to help the realtors get the houses the best bang for their buck. We can coordinate vendors so that the houses are cleaned, so that everything is done. So it's more than I could have ever dreamed, but yet my dreams were huge, and I still haven't accomplished them with all of those services.
I love that. So I want to actually kind of highlight something. A lot of people do this. I did this in a sense with my business. You have a vision, you start going down it, you realize, I kind of need to pivot. I need to change, right? You change the names, you rebranded. It took a lot of energy, effort, right? Some people would say, well, I wasted all that time before, right? But you learn so much to allow you to change, right? Talk about that. I mean, a lot of people are at that pivot point probably right now, and they need to change within their business. They're just not able to take that first step.
I think that the failure of my law school allowed me to understand that that was like the worst possible thing, right? You put all this time, money, energy into it, and then you wait for this random results to pop up, and I missed it by like 4 points, right? And that changed the course of my life. I think that you have to lean in. When you're uncomfortable, that means you either need to grow or change, and growth is so important as individuals, but it's even more important as a business, because I knew that I wanted to bring the best customer experience to my client. I wanted them to be so incredibly happy that they bring me to their next home. I want them to refer me to their sister that's going through maybe a divorce. I want them to refer me to their clients who are moving. So I think that like when you're in a business, you have to look at the client, look at what you're trying to accomplish, and then adapt accordingly and not be afraid of it. Changing our business name like 4 years in, we had just come out of like a slow summer, made all of these amazing materials. We had like a whole marketing plan. And then it was like, we're bigger than this name. And we were pigeonholed. And like we sat down, back to the drawing board, came up with that name, and we're like, F it, let's do it. And it was the best decision. Like it created more momentum.
How uncomfortable were you before you made that decision in the model of F it, let's go, right?
Yeah, it was super uncomfortable. And I sat there with my team of people and my confidants, and we're like, should we do this? Like, is this okay? Should we? And we were like, you know what? What do you have to lose? Like, we already were growing. We already were changing. And if someone didn't like it because we thought bigger than the original idea, that was on them. And it's like, it's all about perspective. And I'm 100% on a glass half full. It is never empty. It has the opportunity to just be filled up more.
Amen. So you actually implemented it. You changed it. You went down the whole, obviously rebranding, course and everything, right? There was a lot of struggles, I guarantee, through it, a lot of frustration, but now obviously the outcome is worth it.
Yeah.
So I hope if someone is at that point, they understand that, it is okay, right, to rebrand. It's okay to make the change. A lot of realtors, different people, they put themselves in a spot they think they want to be, but after they realize being in that spot, they realize then it's not right for them, right?
Yep.
So make the change big time. So, all right, so you obviously go, you take care of your clients, right? Pretty much, in a sense, your concierge is to do anything and everything in a lot of ways, right? What restrictions do you have? I mean, where is the line, right?
There isn't one.
There isn't, right?
We, and I say we as in Becky and myself.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah. We don't take no for an answer. There is no. There is a solution, right? Like you can adapt accordingly. You can always think outside the box. If a customer wants something, there's enough people in this town that I'll find them. I've lived here for 30 years. I have a vast network of clients. So if someone needs something that isn't my specialty, I'm going to find the person that is. So I don't have enough of an ego to need to do it all myself. I know that I am facilitating a service. So if there's someone that's, needs pressure washing, I'm not out there with the pressure washer. Like, you'll never find me doing that, but I'm going to find the best of the best. And that's like what we offer. We're the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, that vibe here locally, and everyone deserves to have the best service. So basically, we're vetting these vendors for you. We're vetting these services. We're using the towels that we put in your house. We're using the products that we pick. We're out here like literally boots on the ground doing all of this stuff and trying it for our clients and just making sure that they can live the best luxury lifestyle.
And you're also project managing the whole situation.
Yeah.
Which is huge, right?
Huge.
Because they can do the reviews, they can go find it, they can do it, right? But that's time and energy, right? At the end of the day, they're buying back time and energy from you.
Exactly. And we put in we have the agendas, we have the list, we're constantly updating our clients, we're in communication. They only have to talk to one person as opposed to 12 different people. I'm going to give you an update after I have an update. I'm not going to have to, you're not making the 10 phone calls to get the one sub to call you back. I'm doing all of that. I'm taking my time and my people's time to make sure that you've got that one beautiful email or text message wrapped up telling you what's happening in your home. And it's really an amazing service. I personally believe, but also my clients have told me, customer experience is everything. So if you're building a house and you're spending multiple millions of dollars, you better be sure that the AC vents are straight, that the things are sealed, that things are cleaned, that the windows that are installed were actually washed and taken care of. Like, you're paying for that, and we're not paying for 75% efficiency. We're paying for 100%. So we believe that we're going to bring you 150% so that you're always happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about customer experience, right? I believe it's the single most important thing in any business, besides obviously delivering a product, because that's what we're paying for. But the experience goes hand in hand with the product, right? People have different ideas on what customer service means to them, right? In your business and with your team, what is customer service, and what expectations do you aspire and expect?
I think it's communication, right? There's something to be said in every relationship you have when you communicate properly. So for me, I believe there are delays in all projects, but why are we hiding them? Why are we not being more honest? So we believe that you need to be honest, you need to be upfront, you need to communicate, and then we take the time to get to know the client. So for instance, we have a client that we send flowers to all the time. It's a monthly delivery service. It's like letting them know that they're still in our minds, right? It's making sure that we're paying attention to the details. If there's somebody who had a specific job and we want to bring in a throwback, or some traumatic event happened in their life and there's a memento, we want to make sure that those things are seen. We take the time to get to know them, to take the extra details, to really bring basically more than they could ever expect. And we're thinking about all the extras, and we start with the end goal and then work our way back. So we're not having to really kind of maneuver as we go. Yeah, road bumps come up and we deal with them. But because of my legal background, I start with, okay, where are we going? What are we expecting? How are we doing it? And then how do we get there effectively and the most cost effective? Because that's equally important, because a lot of times if people don't think of the end, they're spending extra money along the way because it's not planned out properly, or fixing mistakes or undue delays. So we're trying to Get it done as quickly, as effectively, and as cost efficient as possible.
Makes sense. So as a business owner, right, you're now at that point, you're in the growth, right? You're kind of transitioning from you doing every single thing to now having the team, having the resources, having the people.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. How do you give up control?
I don't know. I'm working on it.
So it doesn't just happen overnight.
No. And it's happened kind of, again, organically. So I have a wonderful right-hand woman who I would not be here today sitting with you or in my business without. So that's like paramount. And that, again, just happened naturally. And then we found other people along the way that we've been able to like bring on. And probably within the last 6 months, I've had to do more of the big concept stuff and not the everyday. And it's adjustment because I feel like because I'm not moving my body with them and like implementing all of our ideas, I feel like I'm not working. And that's not true. It's hard. It's hard to like give up control. But if you trust the person, then you need to do it, because otherwise, how are you going to get everything done to the best of your ability by yourself? You can't.
No.
Like, teamwork makes the dream work. That's not like some dumb slogan. It's the truth. And I want to grow my business, but the people that I'm having along the journey with me. So I can't be everything and then have Becky grow where she needs to grow and be fulfilled if I'm hogging the ball. Like, that's just not how it works.
How do you set the standards and the expectations with a team as you continue to grow? Because as you relinquish control, right, obviously it's in their hands now, right? And everyone, again, has a different understanding of expectations. So how do you go about setting that with a team member or, teams?
Lead by example.
Or I will say this, sorry.
Yeah.
I will say also, or with subs, right? Because you said you're not doing the pressure washing, right?
Yeah.
But you're also setting the expectation with that pressure washer, like it has to be, you can't miss this, whatever. So that's another thing too.
Well, you lead by example. So I hold myself to an incredibly high standard. So there's that, right? And then when you pick the right team around you, you're picking the people that are most similar to you in kind of qualities, not like personality or anything. That would be a lot for everybody to deal with if there was a lot of me running around. But I think that with the subs, I don't mince words, right? And I use words to my advantage. So words of affirmation go really far with people. And then micromanaging until you're comfortable. So I'm going to be there. Somebody's going to be there looking over the work and not releasing, number one, funds, right? Because everybody, cash is king. So everybody wants their money. Well, then do the job properly, right? That's not to say that we're holding back money. That's not what I mean. I just mean
I know. Yeah.
setting the expectation that we have this quality of work that we're representing, right? You're walking into a house and it's a multi-million-dollar home. I don't want to see lines in the power wash. I don't want the house to be dirty when we turn it over. I want to make sure that all of those things are done. So vetting the people, I use them a lot for my house. Like our pressure washer knocked on my door. I think he was 18. He's like 20, like 8 now. He's been pressure washing my own house. So now I know that he's really fantastic. One of our electricians, I think he's been doing our electrical work for 20 years in our family. So we're picking people that we know are the same quality and standards, and that really helps. But as amongst our team, I think that boundaries are really important, setting the expectations, communication, and then telling someone where they're doing a really good job so that they know that that's the work that you're looking for. I think that that's really important. And then correcting the behavior with really like constructive criticism. I think it's important, but I think words of affirmation really go further.
It's huge. Switching gears for a second here. You obviously, the world you deal with, right, is providing a service top notch, like you said, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, different things like that. People that are staying at those type of places have extra cash to spend, right? So we are considering a lot of the people probably that hire you and your team are buying back with extra money their time, energy, and effort, right?
Yes.
So obviously it's the luxury market, right? And we talk about, on this podcast, I talk with other people like, the market's a little bit slower and stuff like that. How has the luxury market been affected, do you think, from your point of view as an entrepreneur servicing these people day after day? And what do you think kind of in the future holds for the luxury market, specifically maybe here in Southwest Florida?
I think this summer is an interesting trend. We have a lot of renovations that are happening that are investment properties. So in the luxury market, I think that people that have money are always going to have money if they're strategic. So it allows for our businesses down here, specifically in Naples, to really thrive. You drive down, Seagate, and you see how many houses or lots are for sale, or builders doing a lot of spec homes. I mean, we've just been voted #1 best place to live, right? So I think that the luxury market here is going to continue to trend. I think that we are in a state that the income is really well. We're constantly kind of turning the market, specifically in Naples and even, parts of Bonita and Lee County and stuff. And I think that around here, we're noticing for us that people are buying a lot more investments. And then people are staying a lot longer. I mean, so they're making their houses their homes here versus just like those rental type properties and seasonal rentals. I mean, I went down to the beach the other day and the first 2 floors are full, and it is hot here. Like, people should be gone. And so I think that we're seeing people staying, and, the Ritz-Carlton residents are coming in, and people like living here and they like this lifestyle. So I think we're going to continue to trend with lots of money coming to our area for sure.
When you live in paradise, people want to be here.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. I mean, I've lived here 30 years. I'm not leaving. You don't see me going anywhere.
And you've been blessed to live here for 30 years, where people come here, spend a lot of money just to be able to experience a week or two out of their life, right? Or out of the year, right? People vacation here. And it's like, live where you vacation sounds pretty good, right?
It does.
But I think, too, also from a global scale, and you said it, right, the people that have the money are still willing to spend the money, right? And, yes, interest rates are a bit higher than they were before. In a relative scale, they're still pretty low, right? And they're not 18%, like they were back in the day, different things like that, right? So it's all relative. But, yes, they're a little bit higher, so maybe people are a little bit slower to jump on things, right? But people that are buying in the luxury market usually have the extra income, right, or the extra cash to pay. So we see that still moving.
Yes.
In regards to your business, okay, is it a lot of the property management companies that you're working with? Is it a lot of the renovation? Is it the new homes? Like, what do you think the biggest, or you probably know, but what is the biggest part of your business, and where do most people say, wow, I need you to help me? Right? At what point kind of in their life or during the build, different things like that?
So we aren't one size fits all. So we are a luxury estate concierge business. So that means that we are kind of available to everyone for everything. So it's not like a one size truly fits all. So if you're moving and you don't want any part of it, then call us. We'll pack you up, we'll unpack you, we'll get you organized. If you're renovating and you need project management or just ideas, because we're doing interior design work, we're doing functional interior design, we're working with big renovation companies to kind of make sure that it and facilitate it. So we'll help you with that. I think that the one thing that sets us apart is that we're for everybody. So we'll customize the plan around you, your budget, what you're trying to accomplish. So, I mean, we'll go soup to nuts on a house where you're basically like building it from the ground up, and then you just like walk in and your groceries are there, everything's put away, everything's color coordinated in the closet. But we could also just come in and organize your garage for you so that you can fit your car in there and all of your kids' toys. So it's one of those businesses that truly doesn't have like one specific lane. We're just here to make your life function better and to provide time back, organization, peace of mind. So like, just call us and we're here. Like, if there's any little thing, you should just think that, oh, I'll call them, and it should be your only phone call, because we'll find you somebody.
So what's on the horizon for you? obviously your business has been growing. You mentioned that you're now at 5 years, or right around there, or past it by the time people are listening to this.
That's
So
exciting.
congratulations, 5
Thank you.
years. Statistically, most businesses don't make it past 2 or 3 years, right?
Yay.
And it's like 80 or 90%, right? So
Yeah.
obviously you're crushing it, thriving. That's a huge accomplishment. But what's on the docket? What's up next?
Well, we are flying to our clients' houses now. So we're doing a house here. We've worked for a client for about, 8 months now, and they wanted to renovate their house up in Stone Harbor. So we recently flew up there. So we're taking this business kind of like on the road, right? Like we'll find the subs in other places. Usually, like this gentleman had the house constructed, so we went back to the original contractor to get points of contact. But we have a way to logistically kind of do anything, and we have the network, so it would be nationwide. I would love to do like literally ground up, from like designing it with an architect to literally moving the client in and growing that aspect of our business. And that is a different lane that I never saw us in, just because it was so different, but it's been a need that our clients have talked to us about. And geez, we have so much. Like our marketing team is working on different plans. We had this is not like a brag or anything. We have an amazing social media girl who's helped us, and we just got 4.1 million views this morning on one of our reels. So growing our social media aspect and bringing different content to people, and just kind of showing the luxury lifestyle, but also tips and tricks and how we're redoing houses, and kind of just having like a whole different lane and our team that way. So yeah, we're just kind of growing in all directions. I don't know that when we'll be satisfied.
Usually, as first of all, an entrepreneur, you're never satisfied.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm good with that. I'll admit that. I just want to keep growing.
And you want to keep serving people, and obviously that's very clear, right? And if someone can't see that when you're working with them, or hear it even and see it through this podcast, it's clear you want to service the person, right? You said it best. You don't want to say no to them, right? So, wow. So at the end of the day, if someone does need your service, or they are looking to do something within their household, pretty much, right? At the end of the day, they can reach out to you.
Yes.
Justine, this has been amazing to have you on the podcast, to be able to share your journey as an entrepreneur, changing lanes in a sense, going from one industry to the other, the struggles, rebranding, all that kind of stuff, right? So I appreciate you coming on here. Obviously, you're busy servicing a lot of clients. I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and share your story on the Regenhart Report.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure, Andrew.
Well, it's been awesome. So you guys can reach her. All of her information will be tagged, the videos and whatnot here below. Reach out to her for any of the needs you want, and we'll see you guys on the next episodes of the Regenhart Report.
Thank you.